as we do see the Varus taken away. And a Scion banned as well. They don't want to deal with that, so maybe trying to save a Scion Lilia or some of these big combos that we have seen. I think Scion Lilia has really emerged as a dominant topside combos we've gone throughout the season here of LPL.
Does this mean we get a Jace B1 or something along those lines?
Yeah, that's fallen off a little bit. I know TheShy actually hasn't played Jace all split, which is kind of wild to think about. Just given how iconic that pick is for him of the past. But of course, Gwen off the table. They take away the Rumble, and that does lead to a first pick Talia for rookie.
Now remember, we were talking about this when it got locked in, or when the Pantheon got locked in first in our last series. Will they try to split up that Pantheon Talia combo? It looks like JDG have that on the top of their minds. As we'll see if they do lock this in for Shun. And it requires a different set of picks to be locked in here, as JJ is going to have a different opportunity for a new jungler to pair alongside the Talia.
I gotta say, I kind of like Annie now in the new patch going up against the Talia, but that Scout, his Azir is really good. I will also say I don't like the Talia Pantheon being split up. I understand why teams are splitting it up. We saw Talia Pantheon win game 1 today, Grapes. You're giving that point-and-click setup for the flick and then double global for mid-jungle to go make plays everywhere. But I think Pantheon actually struggles in the Talia. You have to play through the rock wall, and if you don't win out on the front line as Pantheon, Pantheon needs more pieces to be able to win out on the front line. You really needs to get paired up with something like a Leona, like an Alistar, like something that can enable Pantheon to do things in the front line. Usually we see a Xin Zhao to answer. It's actually to be the Nefiri for Jiejie. This is a decent matchup for Pantheon because that point-and-click can be really valuable against Nefiri to try and lock him down and burst him before he gets that untargetable off.
Yeah, it's kind of fallen in priority a little bit, but getting a little bit extra carry potential here for the jungler of Invictus Gaming. We see the Yorick as a blind pick here on 3 for TheShy, and that means that we're probably going to see Alla lock something in here as we head towards the end of our first phase of pick ban.
Yeah, TheShy only 1 and 2 on the Yorick, but against a Pantheon can be a really nice pick. You don't get to the Yorick early, then you kind of have to take friends to get him later on. So the ability for maybe him to play out the 1v2s, or he's forced 3 to be sent to his lane, is we will have the Jax be the answer into the Yorick as our top sides are locked in, and we'll see what our teams look for as they look at these bot lanes. Gotta say, the Misfortune has been a really big pick for both Gala and Peyz, so expect to see that one, frankly, hit the ban list.
Yeah, I mean, the bot lane is going to be heavily focused. There's that Alistar that we were talking about as the only support that's really been taken away other than the Meiko, which has been pretty much a permaban at this point in the LPL, which
really
is
strong.
Very surprising given that, it didn't really get touched too much, but just with the new patch and how good of an engager it is, as well as the ability for it to poke, it just is really OP right now.
No, we have seen Meiko pretty much get globally banned as the engage is too good, and then you get to be lane dominant, and with them splitting up the Grubs and the Dragon Timer, ability to take first Drake into second Grubs into third Drake is definitely very real if you have something like bot lane priority. Ashe taken away here. Actually think that Ashe has been missing a little bit when it comes to Ashe in the meta. Has seen a couple buffs in the last couple of patches that has been nice, and I think Ashe would actually really add a lot of power to the Pantheon Azir and the Jax, just not only the engage, but also the slows that try and help those champions get involved. Again, I think it's really important that Pantheon's able to win out and be functional and comfortable in the front lines if he really wants to push and snowball the many early leads that he can get his hands on as a champion.
But no Ashe available for Peyz this time around. Still a lot of good AD carries available for the taking. Things like the Lucian could be on people's minds if they want to try to play out this kind of skirmishy composition that JDG already have with the Pantheon. Haven't seen too much of Peyz on it, at least this split, but always an option. That and like the Callista if you want to go more towards that early game style. Poppy taken away, as that would be a bit of an annoying one to face off against. Let's see what JDG's bot lane wants to do here and how they want to really finish off their composition.
Tells me Meiko's definitely looking at Rel, but yeah, that MF that's been really big for each of our teams. Again, this is Peyz's most played champion. I think the JDG have been really good at rotating this MF around, which is what we're looking for out of our MF players. Definitely one where Peyz gets the MF pass. So MF grabbed here. An option for Meiko, does he want to deny the Rel? I think that the Poppy ban for me really spells that Meiko might want that as AD pick looking to be Ezreal. I think there is real value with Jhin. Again, Jhin, that Deadly Flourish, able to proc off pets for both Nefiri and Yorick can be really big, but going to be the Ezreal for Gala.
Now we wait for Meiko. Gala has a lot of space to work with here, wanting a champion that can play with a little bit more, you know, and have a little bit more escape potential against a lot of the hard engage that JDG does have. You know, can get away from a Grand Starfall, a Shrima Shuffle maybe if Scout dashes forward on you. And so with that a little added protection, it could be Meiko going for something a little bit more aggressive like this Leona to add a little bit of extra long range engage in IG's composition.
Braum would be nice here for missing, but I think they have to rel for the main engage. Frankly, the Leona 2 in a Pantheon, that 5 seconds done in the queue can be really valuable. I think that Pantheon, like, why I don't like it in the Taliyah this early in the draft is I think that R1, R2, Pantheon needs more conditions in a draft to go his way before he can be grabbed. So for me, winning out on the front line as a Pantheon is really important because, again, is a short-range champion that packs a boatload of damage, especially early on in the game. The Rel and the Jax, I think, helping Pantheon win that front line actually be kind of tough. He's playing in the Taliyah and Ezreal. There's a lot of space they can create to kind of kite back. And if you overcommit as the Pantheon, you're going into Leona that can sit on you, have a 5-second Q stun that's really big, and then also the Yorick, which melts you as a melee, and you get pretty drastically outscaled as Pantheon in this game. So I think scaling-wise, very much favor what IG has with that Ezreal, with that Yorick. You're going to have to rely on the Taliyah to make sure that they can have the space to function as a team comp and survive what I expect to be a pretty early Onslaught and Wombo combo from JDG that really has the potential to play quickly with the Pantheon and a Misfortune, with Scout kind of being that late game insurance on the Azir. So want to see if they can utilize some of the early tools on the side of JDG to get a lead, because I think if this game does go like late, it should be IG favored.
Yep, yeah, the Yorick always providing that late game win condition in multiple ways, but most notably in the ability to side lane, take down those structures and just be a bit of a nuisance, even against somebody like Allah's Jax. So that's what we're keeping our eyes on here as JDG. They're going to want to skirmish. IG maybe wanted to scale a little bit longer in this battle that went so close, went the full distance in the first round robin, and we're hoping it delivers again in the second. A battle potentially for that 4th seed, which would give either of these squads an automatic berth into the postseason of Split 2. On to the Rift for JD Gaming against Invictus Gaming starts right now.
Pretty strong. I gotta say, I think we might be in the JDG arena for this one.
Yep.
As
we saw the
that custom art, pretty nice. JDG, you could hear the home crowd fans going hard for them. As look at this, TheShy trading level 1, like a real man trading out some grass blocks.
Here's our favorite JD robot.
Nope, I'm gonna ignore it.
Again, it disagrees with you.
I have so much beef with this thing. But
now our theory is maybe is the robot biased towards JDG.
I just think LPL solo queues
threw out there a little bit.
Solo queues got to be a special place over there. You know, these percentages are something else. But I will say that the raw DPS of Azir MF, that's going to be really tough to overcome. Definitely going to have to be IG relying on their space creation tools. I think they have a lot of them. But Unraveled Earth, playing around that with Taliyah, going to be really big, and then trying to play off those Taliyah combos. And again, for JDG, should have some priority early on, especially in this bot side. So if they can use that to rotate this MF around, make some plays. We have seen it, MF being a really good champ for Peyz and JDG. Definitely one of the teams that gets the MF pass, as this is a champion that I think not everyone has loved seeing people pick. Definitely has its own limitations, but does bring a lot of early strength. And if you're able to utilize that Bloodthirster spike and the power of MF around 6 in those parts of the game, can be a strong champion. Peyz and JDG definitely a team that has proven they're good at doing that.
Yeah, the MF pass is something, means a little bit of a different thing when we're talking about League of Legends. Just as a quick update for you. It's a Twitch prediction. Is it 50-50? It looked like it was very IG favored for a second, but I think we are deadlocked. Which is
the IG fans, you know, they spoke up early on, and then the fans were like, "Wait a minute, JDG should win this game, right?" But again, hey, this is a game between our 4th and 5th place teams in the standings, and a must-win for IG if they want to try and secure that top 4. As Jiejie going to get involved against this blue buff. Should be a Pantheon winning out of the Smite War here. Yeah.
Yep, that Q Smite combo just a little bit too OP. As Meiko went forward with the Zenith Blade, but it was canceled by missing, crashing down on top of him. So JJ now going for another potential camp steal. He has a smite this time around for the Gromp, but it will reset as he goes on the retreat.
This has bought some time and space for TheShy, who again is getting bopped around a little bit here by Alva, but can win out on this one.
Oh, he had another proc of the
Able
QW.
Yeah.
TheShy was able to get back. He able to heal up a lot with those potions in addition, so probably would not been able to finish off that kill. Not a lethal range there yet for the JDG top laner. As we still see some shenanigans here for Jiejie. He's running very far forward. I think he was able to clear out most of that wolf camp, which is a big W for him. As Jun was able to catch him out and now be a little bit shorter off on terms of those camps. As here goes another engage on the bot side. Peyz having to pop the cleanse and the flash to get away from Meiko's engage. And that's a big win for IG as they're going to be able to shove this bot lane in.
I noticed there too, Meiko had level 3 to the level 2 of missing, so just that invade from Jiejie was able to get a level difference, which was punished really nicely, and delaying Peyz' base here. Going to start him out of water resources. They're going to actually be forced to swap and dive on the missing.
He gets stunned up. He flashes on out, though, and uses both of his summoner spells. It'll result in a trade. No, it doesn't. 2 for nothing in favor of Invictus Gaming. Meiko got so low, but was able to survive. And just like that, IG are on the board.
Shun gets a 3rd quadrant of the jungle, but I'd take this trade if I'm NIP. And again, this was the concern I had for JDG. What happened for them against top esports? Their bot lane got taken out of the game early, given the focus from the enemy team. Feels like IG kind of took that strat book from top esports. A lot invested to attack this bot lane early on as Jiejie, sacked a safer clear for himself to just find the Pantheon skirmish. Ended up in an experience advantage for Meiko and Gala, and they cashed in, finding a 2v2, at least win, right into a 2-kill win with the help of their jungler.
So a great start for Invictus Gaming. Looks like, for the moment, we're getting more of that IG completely on the top of their game, at least for the first 5 minutes of this one. As, again, you mentioned it, Cubby, but Shun was able to get some of those camps back, but overall, you're very happy about the situation if you are the Nefiri. Being able to get on the board with a kill. You also were able to steal away a couple of camps anyway, so only losing out on maybe like a net -1 in terms of those camps to make sure your team gets those 2 kills.
Yeah, and you can see at least the swaps did come in for JDG. This was really forced by just the TP coming down, right? But also that bot lane deficit. Figure that with Peyz' base being delayed and of course Peyz going down, they had the swap like this in order to kind of keep Peyz in the game. The 1v2 you can see being handled pretty well by the Yorick. As TheShy has been able to pick up mostly everything in the top side. Alva, to be fair, has done the same. We do have Jiejie and Rookie maybe posturing to go for a dive. Could be a little bit scary here if you are Alva. Rookie going to have to clean up this next mid wave to find it. But definitely an area of concern here for JDG.
Yeah, IG kind of taking control of the map a little bit, as Alva's going to have, I think, a bit of a tougher time than TheShy against the Yorick, at least for now. Has been able to farm up a little bit nice. However, the dive is coming, as Jiejie is on the hunt. He jumps forward to get that untargetable. Alec popping the counter-strike early. Still has the ultimate at his disposal, so it'll be a reset here of the turret aggro. And another clearing of the minion wave, and maybe IG will go for another one next. However, the trade on the other side of the map is JDG getting back on the board. However, TheShy is able to take it down, missing in a trade that'll hand the Feats of Warfare over to Invictus.
Yeah, the Maiden's down. That hurts a little bit. TheShy will be able to TP back and catch up most of that, but hey, dive connected on one side. Good roam from Scout is able to impact that lane, and that Scoop able to make sure TheShy goes down. Whereas it will be the Dragon going down and Alva surviving on the other side of the map for JDG.
And so overall, top side of the map going okay here for JD Gaming. However, the bot side very much favoring IG at this point. As Gala's about 10 CS, he has that kill. And it's another instance, Cubby, of, a team targeting the bot lane early on for JDG. It was the dive onto Jiejie.
Yeah.
We saw top esports do that really well to allow for Jackie Love, a player who has struggled a little bit in laning phase this year, to actually get off to a good spot in that game and in that series and have a good performance overall. And that seems to be the new game plan when you're playing against this star Korean ADC.
I mean, Peyz has been really, really good this year for JDG. Really feels like this is a squad where, again, really high expectations for this roster. We have seen the consistency not exactly be there for the team as 5, but it has been nothing but consistency for Peyz at the AD role. So I guess a couple teams, trying to put him behind. Again, seemed to be a winning formula for top esports. We'll see if it can be so here for Invictus Gaming, as it is the 8-minute mark. Grubs have spawned, and Jiejie going to find his way here first. Definitely going to be at least one grub going over to IG. We'll see what kind of answer Shun and JDG are able to have. But at the moment, it is Gala pushing Peyz around, as it is no Vamp Scepter available for Peyz quite yet. So that damage is going to stick, and looks like JDG just going to give over the 3 grubs for free. That's really big for Yorick later on in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what Bin was able to do when he had those grubs in his hand just in that last game. And so even better of a situation now this time for Invictus Gaming. They get all 3 of those grubs. They're stacking up the feats of strength as well. That's now 2 of the 3 as Gala has to flash on after that bullet time. Peyz using the last of his mana to cast that one out and making sure a summoner spell goes down.
Yeah, Arcane Shift off cooldown when we got onto Gala's character there, so going to have to drop the flash out. A little bit of an unwarranted aggressive look. The posture into Peyz ends up getting punished, as Peyz does find that Vamp Scepter in his inventory off that base, so will be a stronger MF that will be a little bit stickier, harder to remove from the map. Put the heal off all those waves hit, but formations being how they are again for IG, that this Yorick's going to get become a real pest in the side lane later on. As him versus Jax, of course, both these champions definitely have some scaling. I very much favor Yorick in the side lane, whereas Jax can make a little bit of a bigger splash in the team fight. Speaking of splashes, missing.
Getting splashed upon here by the, I think that's the pool party Taliyah. He's going to allow for Gala to pick up another kill. As he's now 2-0-1 in this game. IG up 4 kills to 1.
And for me, missing has actually been a big part of the success of JDG early on in this split. I thought that JDG did find those first 3 series win and looked better early on, because Missing was playing much better than where he was in split 1. I feel like Missing was a little bit disjointed with his team, but unfortunately gets caught there, and Missing having a bit of a tough game here. Again, the bot lane was focused by IG. This Leona pick, the Leona Ezreal, feels like a bit of a double counter in the lane. Just able to use range, then Leona, that brute strength that she brings early on can be really big if you're able to get those passives proc too. So it has been IG Meiko making good use of that. And again, their lead, their strength has been built off this bot lane so far to start off this game, Grapes.
Yeah, they are looking very good to start things off. Gala, again, he's been somebody that has not necessarily performed to the same level that we were hoping, especially given his historical success, but more recently what he was able to do on LNG last year. But now has an opportunity to pop off. This is a champion that has that big clip farming potential if you can play it well. Really mechanically intensive AD carry that Gala now has a lead in.
We're gonna get a play for himself and then run for the hills against the Maiden. We'll say TheShy maybe shouting out anyone's legend with his choice of Yorick skin, as the Pandas have hit the rift. Definitely a good one. I really liked how AL were using this Yorick skin for their 1v1s, repping the team mascot. Yes. I thought it was a good look.
You have to.
Yeah.
For a second I was like, wait, hold on, is Flandra's world skin Yorick somehow? But no, it's the Pandas that we're talking about.
Anything for pride. I feel like that'd be an appropriate Flandre skin, though, if he were to actually hoist a Worlds again. It's just snagging.
A lot of conditions that I just don't know if that's gonna happen.
A little bit of an outlandish pick, feels like the best of Flandre in the end, as he always has thrown the nice curveballs here in LPL. Again, player that we've seen for a long time in this league, and rightfully so, is TheShy. Just be a pest against Scout. He dropped a few creeps to send a message. It's fine.
Yeah. Speaking of players that we've seen a lot in this league, I mean, just take a look all across the Rift. That's kind of the historical part of this IG team, is just the pedigree that all 5 of these players have in the LPL specifically. 4 of the 5 world champions, 5 out of 5 international champions at some point in their careers. However, not all of it's looked good and golden through the entirety of 2025. There are moments where things do not necessarily add up and they start to underperform a little bit. However, we're seeing that change here in this game specifically. They're able to pick up all of the major objectives so far in this game. That is the feats of strength, as you did talk about it. They could look for another play on a missing. However, he's going forward with that Magnet Storm out of Jiejie, and a teleport has come in as well, as Olive's going to join the fight, but Gala just one-shots the Pantheon as soon as he enters the fray, and that means that it's another kill going over to IG. Jiejie going forward with another call to pack, looking at lockdown, missing, and they do. The rel is down. Ola trying to leap strike away, but Gala will find the kill. 3-0 in favor of Invictus Gaming, and they could look for another. Scout has to flash away as TheShy's chasing after him. The E is not yet off of cooldown, so the shifting sands from Scout will be able to get him out to safety, but IG dominating this game number 1.
Yeah, and Rookie, the flash out of the engage from missing means that he's able to function in the fight. This is why I don't love the Pantheon in the Taliyah, because your ultimate's telegraphed, and Rookie was able to prep the rocks, and the CC connecting from both Meiko and Rookie. Shun was stuck, couldn't do anything again. Take another look. Great react flash from Rookie. You know exactly where this Pantheon's going to go. The follow-up from Meiko and IG is too clean. As he's stuck in the rocks, stuck down. Meiko, great flash down. Saved his health bar and actually enabled another re-engage that he found back in here. As again, second round of Unraveled Earth comes out. It takes down Missing and Awa. Rookie, a fantastic Taliyah player off this first pick. Really made that Taliyah and his presence felt on the Rift in that first fight, as he played that one out really well. Now it's a big lead for IG.
Yeah, they're feeling very comfortable at this point. Almost a 2,000 goldie, but the kills most notably. 4-0-2 on Gala's Ezreal. He's going to get stronger and stronger as this game continues to progress. And again, we said that JDG generally want to maybe play this early to mid-game out with Peyz on the Misfortune, with Sean on this Pantheon, and with Scout able to make plays with the streamer shuffles as well. But IG are the ones who really have put their foot on the gas, and again, they scale really well into this late game.
Yeah, I think that their space creation tools, again, thought it was really important in this game to play often around those Unraveled Earths, right? That's how you're going to be able to buy some space and try and dodge out on the DPS from Azir and MF. That can be significant if you overplay your hand into it. IG did a great job of using that space in that fight. Again, the 2 Unraveled Earths from Rookie led to such positivity for IG just been trading out throughout the fight. I really feel like that's going to be the game plan, and why we're seeing Taliyah just be first picked. Again, it doesn't... Rookie and a lot of teams just don't care about the counter matchups that you can play in the Taliyah because of the strength of the Unraveled Earth, the wave clear you get early, and then your ability to roam around the map with those semi-globals as well.
Yeah, this champion's been so strong in the meta, specifically here in the LPL. It's been B1 on multiple occasions. It's really risen in priority, especially because of the different synergies or the anti-synergies against it that you can play with this Pantheon in these game 1s of the Fearless drafts. And right now, Rookie's making the most out of it. As IG are starting up this Rift Herald, Jean could get in and steal this one away, but the Weaver's Wall is going to come out and it blocks JDG from trying to secure the objective. A beautifully issued ultimate here from Rookie. Make sure that the Herald goes into IG's hands.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for that one too. IG, they didn't want to fight. They want the objective. They're able to rotate around and use the wall to secure that one for free. No contest coming in. Should have that cooldown back up too for the Dragon, as Rookie, I believe he had 11 when he cast that one. Not exactly sure. But will be a significant one to get back up. As Peyz, that's a free cleanse.
Has to use that cleanse, and the Solar Flare comes out on top. And there is a huge ulti from Gala as well, nearly taking down Peyz. He had to flash away from that one.
Honestly,
that is a big win here.
Yeah, uncharacteristic mistake too, because that was just the Zenith Blade in the Leona combo, right? It's not even like a Solar Flare. It was nice and connected with the cleanse. Peyz tried to hold on to the flash, but couldn't. But losing that cleanse immediately, just the way that he did, a rare mispositioning there from Peyz. If you're MF, you should never be getting Zenith Blade comboed.
Oh, Jiejie could be caught out. He missing, tried to go for the crash down as soon as that second proc of the Herald went down, but there's not enough damage. This Nefiri is very tanky at this point of the game, Cubby, and no damage is available on JDG's composition. So they will let the Nefiri escape. They will let a tier 1 tower go down in the bot lane for TheShy, and the gold lead continues to escalate here for Invictus Gaming.
I will say Rookie's going to try and scout out Awa. Awa's going to get away with this Gromp, and could look for a play actually onto Rookie. But yeah, it doesn't have the help of Shun. Again, a Rookie for me trying to fix this wave before the Dragon spawns. I'm going to do so on time. Actually, you're going to agree to recall here. We'll be a little bit late to the Dragon, but again, that Weaver's Wall, I think IG really want to fight with this on available for Rookie. You can see it coming off cooldown, so Rookie does have the chance to join the fight quickly, as he will TP mid to be in time for the Dragon. And IG, they get here in time for their setup with the Ezreal. really tough to walk into these Mystic shots, and Gala, who is ahead, is now missing, going to be cut off.
The canceled Shun's back as well. That means he's going to be half HP by the time this Dragon is started up. Almost assuredly means it goes over to Invictus Gaming. 3-0. That is Infernal Soul Point. Just another victory here for Invictus Gaming. I mean, it looks very tough for
It looks
JDG
clean.
to come back.
Can I call IG clean from what we've seen so far? Do I actually get to call this team clean?
You just cursed it. We're in for...
now
JDG are going to come back. You said that.
It's been great so far. Again, like every objective has been theirs. They've secured everything. And they've done it looking easy, right? They're just playing off of this Taliyah, the cooldown. And then, again, I think the struggle of playing the Pantheon and Taliyah, with the B1 Taliyahs, we've seen a lot more of that on this patch. And we have seen a lot of teams try and deny Pantheon just to get out of that cooldown. Again, I really don't like that deny. I think that playing something like Leona in a Pantheon gets a lot of value. And then Pantheon trying to play through Unraveled Earth. And you're a melee champion, man. You were stuck. Your W, you get procced by Unraveled Earth in the first place. It's tough to play into those rock fields that are going to be under your feet when you go up against this champion. And I'm just kind of waiting for teams to actually start to be willing to take away Taliyah, because it feels like the answers that we have seen in the Taliyah haven't really hit. And this champion just continues to define and warp the meta that we have, not just in the LPL, but globally.
And I think combined with that, really been difficult for Shun to find plays anywhere. He's going to try to look for one onto TheShy, which is one proc of the E and the cage coming out. And
see a Pantheon.
A complete disengage here for Shun. And JDG, it's looking so tough for them right now. I mean, they have a timer. In 3 minutes and 30 seconds, they must go for a 5v5 team fight around that Soul Dragon. And if it doesn't happen, the game will probably end either way.
Again, like, Pantheon's a strong champ. I think that Fearless has actually really helped a lot of teams play more Pantheon. I realize some of the strength of this champion with the bruiser items being so strong right now. Pantheon can have used those too. We got a pause. Weaver's Wall coming in, missing, no flash.
Yeah, he already gets stunned up and flicked back. That's just an instantaneous kill from Gala. My goodness, the burst damage from IG is great. The play from IG is clean, like you were saying, Cubby. As they continue to grasp their holding of this game number 1. They still have TheShy pushing on this top lane tier 2. All is getting singled out here as Jiejie and Meiko collapse upon him. And it could be more and more structures continuing to melt as we just cross the 20-minute mark of this game.
Oh. All right.
And Scout, well, I mean, talk about not
rough.
Clean. The JDG not playing clean right now. They're not finding the plays that they want. They're fumbling engages left and right. This is a tough look for them to start this series.
Yeah, again, I think that this comp in the Taliyah, the control that Rookie can put down, the fact that he got ahead, and this bot lane being set behind. This is 3 games in a row now where we have seen this JD Gaming bot lane be victim to early ganks, early pressure, and it feels like JD Gaming as a team just haven't been able to get into games where their bot lane has been taken out early on. So, again, an ability to do a lot. And the Pantheon, I really want to stop seeing Pantheons taken this early. I think the Pantheon, just as a pick, needs more conditions to be drafted than where we're seeing it in the draft, and it's starting to get punished for me by a lot of teams. Yeah. So I think it's really tough to play Pantheon of the Taliyah Ezreal. Again, taking it R1, R2, you have a lot of factors you have to get through. Got to return to live, though, on account of half.
And it's going to go down. It's another objective that just goes away for free.
Ult in.
Here comes that Grand Starfall. It could be enough, but no, it's taken by Jiejie first. They're instead looking for the kill on the Rookie, but Missing's already very low. Going forward in, tries to ult away to safety, but TheShy's there to cut him off, and Jun dies on the back end of things. 2 more kills in favor of Invictus Gaming as they are dominating game number 1 in a way that we have not seen from this team in a long, long time. Ala going for the counter-strike, but it's flashed away from TheShy. Weaver's Wall, it cuts off Scout, and Peyz is isolated as well. Gala picks up kill number 6 on the day, and Invictus Gaming are up 11-1.
Always has to run for the hills against this IG team that is no slowing down, no signs of it in this one as Gala gets over the wall, hunts down the Jax. Going to be a clean reset for IG 1 minute before their soul spawns on the Rift, as this might be the best game I've seen from IG all split grapes.
I don't know if it's allowed anymore. If I'm JDG, I'm pressing FF. Don't let them get any more confidence. Don't let IG get any more confidence in seeing the Nexus go down. It's almost impossible to come back from a situation like this. We get to look at this replay.
I mean, who is this team and what have they done with IG, quite frankly? Again,
exactly. It's
so tough to play into this Taliyah's Pantheon, like Flash Burn to try and get the stun off before the Unraveled Earth comes down. No chance for a follow-up, though, from the team as TheShy and Gala holding the line, making sure that no one could walk through. Ala was a bit out of position, too. Not able to really get involved in that one. Great Weaver's Wall, pressures Peyz, and again, Rookie able to posture so aggressively here, knowing that his team has his back. JDG felt like once their bot lane was taken out, they were never able to get into this game, Grapes, and it has been a very decisive game one. Not the bloody mess that a lot of people were expecting and maybe hoping for between these two teams and really any IG series. It has been all IG early on. Again, every objective has gone their way. They've only given up one death. And now looking to make sure that they secure this soul as JDG, the weaker team, relegated to trying to play through bot. They're going to try and cut off TheShy, but good luck getting through that York.
Oh, they got to try to steal this away. Otherwise, it's just going to be the soul going over. Shun going in with that Grand Starfall, but he's not even close to the pit just yet. All jumping over. They're going to try to target Gala, but he flashes over the wall and will survive. Jiejie still here. Still going to try to find this smite instead. It's going to be secured by the Pantheon as JDG denied the soul. They then pick up another kill on a Meiko. They're going to try to take down Gala as well as he goes over the wall. JDG looking for an answer. It's a jungle battle here in the Dragon Pit, but Rookie will join the fray and try to keep Jiejie alive, and he does so successfully. It's a double kill picked up for Rookie as 3 members of JDG fall, but they get what they want at the end of the day as Jindong Gaming deny the soul from IG.
It was a good angle into Gala, who I think fell at the end. Maybe not necessary, but man, Scout whiffed another ultimate, and Scout's been kind of invisible in this game, Grapes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Kind of forgot what champion he was playing. I had to look. Was this a Talia talking about? No, it's the Azir.
He is the Azir player, too. Like, just given LPL history and, like, Scout and his Azir in LPL, it really feels like he is one of the premier Azir players. Not to mention one of the premier mids. Scout's just having a flat game. And a season that really continues. I feel like every single time I cast Scout, he's just had toughies. Again, this angle into Gala is a really good start to the fight. It is Azrael. You can kind of be involved over the wall, but he's pretty much forced out. But it's Scout who was late because Rookie was zoning him. And then, again, just this disconnect. He's not able to find Rookie, and of course throwing himself in there. He's just going to die and get soloed out. Gala falls, and it's really clutch that Shum is able to take away this dragon. But the Azir being irrelevant in this game is really hurt JDG. Again, as a team, they've struggled to get into this one. Bot lane was set behind early. Scout hasn't shown up, and let's be honest, Jackson and York, we have seen the raw strength of this York be really tough to overcome. As Meiko, first player in LPL history to 10,000 assists. Congrats to him, man. One of the GOATs for sure. Looking at LPL Sports as Peyz. Going to fall to the dog. And a shovel.
No assist there, but
goodbye.
Still another kill going forward for Invictus Gaming. Despite the fact that Dragon went over to JDG, they're still not feeling comfortable here in this game. There are questions about what JDG would look like against teams in the middle of the pack. They took care of business against Thunder Talk. They lost to Top Esports. Not many, reps against teams in between. But right now, we're starting to get a grim look of what JDG could look like in the back half of this second round robin if they don't clean some things up.
Yeah, and again, like, there are kind of two tails of the tape with JDG. Like, yes, they're 7-5, and yes, there's a gap for them and the rest of the teams that we have in the league, right, sitting at that 4 seed. But they've also yet to play a lot of series, and after that 3-0 start, Grapes, they're only 4-5 in series score. Had a couple of slip-ups. Again, got manhandled, I'd say, by Top Esports in 2 series in a row.
Yep.
Of course, lost to IG off a tragic one early on. And,
Gala tried to go for the teleport. He gets immediately matched with that seismic shove on Unravel. There's combo. Bullet time. Going to get flashed away from Gala. Scout dashing forward. Desperately looking for an ultimate to try to turn this game around. But hasn't found the angle just yet. And will go to the grave before he does. It's another 3 kills picked up for Invictus Gaming. Ala has the Zanya's popped, but he will not be able to survive for much longer. The Counter-Strike merely buying time, as it is Invictus Gaming up 19-3. They could go to the Baron, they could go to the base, they could maybe do a little bit of both, as we're going to walk away with a Game 1 victory for sure.
I don't know about that one from JDG. That was really weird trying to all-in on Azrael, and Scout, I mean, sends everything in, doesn't even burn his flash or ult, and just dies. As I'm not used to seeing Scout perform like this, especially when he gets his hands on his Azir. And that's going to spell the doom of this game one as IG, man, walk in and take care of business against JDG.
It just never looked close. They're going to try to pad the KDAs a little bit. Instead, the Nexus goes down 19-3, less than 30 minutes into this game. It's Invictus Gaming walking away with a Game 1 win.
And that was a great game from IG. I love the game plan to focus on bot. Rookie, standout performance from him. And then on the side of JDG, again, this is 3 games in a row. We have seen their bot lane get focused early on. They've been set behind. The rest of the team just kind of feels lost when their bot lane is is not ahead or they're able to play with missing. I think that draft, again, I'm really out on playing Pantheon into Taliyah. I think it's really tough. Pantheon needs more conditions for me than what is warranted right now to be picked in R1, R2. And at the end of the day, man, it was just IG taking care of business really through bot. Shout out to Meiko, who I thought had a great game on that Leona. Really controlled the pace of the game, punished missing from start to finish. And I think is the player of the game looking back, Rapes, is he really got things going for IG and made sure that was, again, a clean win for IG, something we do not say often when it comes to this team.
We say there have been a lot of wins, just not a lot of clean wins, right? For Invictus Gaming, where sometimes it looks like they definitely don't deserve it, and they do end up taking the victory. Most notably, you know, that last time that these two teams faced off in that game number 3, where they probably should have lost the series, and eventually able to run it down and end the game from there. But this was, again, maybe one of the cleaner games we've seen from IG all year long, as it has never really fully lined up for them in terms of what this super team roster could look like. You even look at some of their last couple of games, you know, they're dropping games to ThunderTalk, WE, teams that they should be expected to pass in the standings rather easily. But against JDG here in this game, they are looking hungry, they're looking strong, and they're looking poised to potentially contest for that top 4.
I just, like, again, what I'm seeing out of JDG and Scout, I'm not used to seeing this. I really hold Scout in high regard as a player throughout his career. And I don't think we've really seen the consistency of Scout of late on this team. Again, that wasn't all on him. I think that draft was a little bit hard to play. Again, I really don't like these paths in the Taliyah trades that we get. I just think that you're signing up to have a disadvantageous matchup into it. I'd rather just play, like, give Panth Taliyah or just start banning Taliyah, man. Put some respect on this champion. It feels like everyone tries to play into it, but the power she brings to the map and team fighting, it's too easy to find fights where you have numbers or someone has to fight through the unraveled earth, and it's so challenging to do. As this pick continues to be one of the dominant picks that we have in Fearless Draft in our meta. As, again, man, tail of the tape there. Look at that damage dealt the champs. Everyone from JDG just pretty much getting gapped.
Yep. Aside from one little moment, 7 minutes into the game, entirely dominated in terms of gold at the very least by Invictus Gaming. As we said, didn't really ever look close. It started off with that early invade gone right, or the early dive, I should say, that went right here for IG. And then from there, it never really looked back. And if they continue to look this clean, I think a lot of LPL teams are going to be worried. But the question is, can they stay this good? Because consistency has been always the name of the game for IG. If they can find that level of consistency, that is where they will succeed. And so if they come back firing in game 2, it'll look good, but we don't know exactly if that's going to happen yet.
Yeah, still, I love the plan from Jiejie and IG. The early invades, the time of the Pantheon, it did get a support level advantage. Missing was able to cash that in. And again, like, just an off game for JDG. The engages from Missing were either flashed out or didn't connect. JDG didn't have enough tools to really enable these rel power plays. We saw Scout have an invisible game. And Peyz was set behind early on. It felt like his team was never really able to set up for him to be successful. We saw the Pantheon getting blown up early on. And Awa was in a tough matchup. I don't care if you get counterpicked into the York. You're playing to the York. That's usually a toughie in the top side. So, yeah, just a game where JDG, I mean, looked flat. They fell flat. And we'll see if they can bounce back for game 2.
Yeah, again, they have the most to gain, the most to lose, with the most remaining games left in their schedule out of any other team in Group Ascend. Again, that was kind of built into their schedule from the start, but yeah, now is their opportunity to bounce back and answer. Again, remember, they lost this matchup against IG as well, so if it comes down to a tiebreaker, I believe the head-to-head will just go over to Invictus Gaming if they win out on this game and, clinch the 2-0 sweep across both series. And that becomes important because, again, these teams are so closely contested. Even though JDG kind of have the game lead over them in terms of losses or matchups in the loss column that they have in their advantage, Invictus Gaming, if they win both of the games against JDG, that's going to be a huge victory.
Yeah, and again, JDG, they have a lot of games to play out, and so far these games do not look good. I mean, both Scout going in for nothing and Peyz throwing out a bullet time that kind of caught air as JDG just came up with nothing in that game. And they're going to have to dig into find a reset in game 2 and just have a better game on the Rift, because this was a game where IG was firing on all cylinders and JDG couldn't really find a way to even put their gun together, as they were not able to fire at all.
Yeah, and we'll see what changes come forward here for JDG. Remember, they will be on the blue side for this time around because they did lose.
We don't know side select yet, but they did lose, and we're just gonna straight up assume they're on blue side, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of handshook that that's the that's.
You know what? This game always just went went downhill from the point where we equalized or to minion wave, right? It was just that's why we lost game 1 as JDG. We equalized or to minion wave. We didn't get blue side, so just GG. FF the series with that logic too. It's gonna be a 2-1 IG at this rate, you know.
2-1. That means you think that JD is gonna win the game.
But yeah, because they get blue side next game. That's true. We need a 6-0 blue side day. That's what we're going for.
Was the ultimate minion wave? Ultimate minion wave was that your Steve Bartman play right there?
Oh, well, that's getting personal.
I had to get one back. You had the Yankees joke.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that might have ruined a career like Mark Pryor's. If we're talking about greats, potential greats. That's just. I actually watched Mark Pryor highlights the other weekend, Grapes. So I got really sad.
Going back for those deep cuts.
I get so sad as a Cubs fan. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, you know. But hey, at least he won a ring being the pitching coach for the Dodgers. And at least Meiko got that deserved pog. Kind of like how Mark Pryor is the support of that pitching staff. Now Meiko was the support for his team in this game and fired on all cylinders on that Leona again, as he was really on point. So props to Meiko. I think that was a well-deserved pog for him. Excited to see if he can continue that form in game 2.
If you're one of the 15 people that are watching this stream that understood that reference, congratulations. As we needed to start getting creative to come up with interesting things to talk about with that game.
He was definitely on steroids with the size of those calves, but I still miss him. He was a great pitcher for the couple years that he was hot.
Well, we'll see if JDG got the juice here in game 2, if they can bounce back, make this an interesting one here, as it definitely was not interesting as IG dominated that first game. We'll be back with the draft for game 2 after this short break.